Welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk. Today we are talking with Arryn, aka PunsOfDamage. So Arryn, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Arryn. I'm from PunsOfDamage. I'm also known as Don't You Darren and Termia on the internet. I am a Ruby reactor, an animation student, and a cosplayer, mostly. It's really pretty much all I do. Okay, that's really all I do. I stream. That's a thing.
So what exactly got you into doing cosplay?
So, getting into cosplay was kind of a very strange experience, but I guess I started the way a lot of people did. I got in through a webcomic that I'm kind of ashamed of now, called Homestuck. It was very simple cosplays. It was like it would be like a white t-shirt and a white skirt, or white pants, or a black t-shirt and gray pants and a wig, and then later you could mess around with makeup, but it allowed for a very simple start. So it was mostly just buy wig, buy shirt, buy pants. You are good to go. Doesn't matter if you had makeup or not, which was really nice. It really got me involved. I got so excited over it. I made a prop the first time. I'm still relatively proud of that prop, actually. But it was definitely a good start. And I did that for a while, and it allowed me to have the opportunity, since it was simple designs, it gave me the opportunity to put my own flair on it over time as I gradually got better at doing cosplaying. So ultimately it was a good start, even if right now I'm kind of ashamed.
So what was your first character to cosplay as?
The first character I cosplayed as was Terezi Pyro from Homestuck. There's still pictures of it in a horribly written DeviantArt tutorial on how to do that cosplay. But shortly after that, when I started cosplaying another character from Homestuck, because I'm original, called Karkat Vantas, who definitely was my best cosplay before I switched over to Ruby. I spent like 2 years making sure it was everything I wanted. But it was pretty intense for as far as first cosplays go, because it was gray body paint on top of wigs and pants, which was tricky to do in the Arizona heat. So there was definitely a lot of lessons learned.
So now that you do Ruby cosplay, who's your favorite character to cosplay as?
That's actually kind of a toss-up, surprisingly. My favorite characters to cosplay are probably either Pyrrha or Weiss from Ruby, no surprise. Pyrrha, just because Pyrrha is my favorite character, so being able to wear that armor, because I'm a huge armor nerd as well, and look like that character, I really enjoy it. I love wearing the cosplay. I loved how it turned out, even though I'm remaking it now. But I love the color scheme. I love warm colors. I pretty much wear them all the time. So having all of that gold and the warm colors condensed into a redhead, awesome huntress. When you cosplay as a character and occasionally do ask panels as the character, you kind of get to like put yourself into their shoes and kind of imagine things, and it can give you quite a sense of confidence, which is what I really get whenever I cosplay Pyrrha. But the other character who I really like is cosplaying Weiss. Again, no surprise, just because I'm not a very dainty person, I'm very clumsy, but as far as Weiss is concerned, it just makes you feel immediately so much more graceful. It was a pain not to get stains on the dress, that's true. Eating was a disaster. But it was a lot of fun being able to walk around. You just feel very pretty as Weiss, and it's a thing that happens with a lot of the Ruby designs. It's the combat skirt effect, as I started calling it. Just when you have a swishy combat skirt and a petticoat, you just immediately feel like you can take on the world. And it's wonderful. So those are the two that I like to cosplay the most.
Do you have a cosplay that you're working on at the moment?
I'm currently working on Nora Valkyrie's Volume 4 design. I started a while ago around Christmas, I believe, but I haven't really had time to work on it. It's almost done, which is probably the most frustrating part. But after Nora, I'm immediately going to get back to work on Weiss's ball gown and Yang. So these are all the Volume 4 designs. I completed Ruby Bingo with their first outfits, and I want to do it with their outfits in Volume 2, and then now with the Volume 4 ones. And after those, for RTX, I'm working on a time skip version of Pyrrha, because if RT won't give her new outfits, I will.
So you've been doing cosplay for a while, but what made you want to start a YouTube channel?
It was actually kind of a lot of things. I had kind of always wanted to start a YouTube channel when I was younger, just because I watched a lot of YouTubers. When I was a lot younger, I watched a lot of Shane Dawson and a lot of Smosh, and that slowly evolved into watching Markiplier and Game Grumps. And then I needed to get reference for emotions. So once I figured out I wanted to be an animation major, I realized exactly how important it is to people watch and how to see how people speak, how they move their body, their inflections, and how their face moves when they talk. So whenever I was feeling a particularly strong emotion, I would actually take a picture of my face to use as reference. So that's how reaction videos started. And then once I realized that there was a community for it was kind of like, oh, well, I have these videos, may as well put them out there and socialize with people. What a thought. So besides from that, I also just really wanted to put up gameplay of playing video games with my friends. We always had a lot of fun, and apparently were very entertaining to watch and listen to. So I figured, hey, two birds with one stone. I can have fun if I just have fun, meet people, talk to people, put stuff out there. So
You have many different types of content on your channel, but which is your favorite content to create and make?
while I really do love reaction videos because they're really fun and I love theorizing about RWBY, I'm going to have to go with streams probably, because they're interactive. I get to play a video game, which I love doing, but I feel like I'm playing with a large group of friends, which is a lot more fun, because I didn't really get to play a lot of multiplayer games growing up. It was just my sister and I, and she didn't play video games, so I was always playing first-person shooters. All of my games were first-person, and so being able to still play a first-person game, which I'm most comfortable with, but while talking to people and interacting with a group of people, is a lot of fun. Plus I can answer questions from people, which is always nice, and it's always fun if I'm playing a horror game and I scream my lungs out and someone's like, oh my god, I was scared too. It's a very nice feeling to have someone else share that emotion and be like, oh my god, that was great, you made me laugh, you made my day. And I get that the most through streams, and I like being able to do things like that. So it's like a combination of reactions and gaming, which sounds like a cop-out now. But it's both of them put together in a way that actually has a live response time, which allows me to interact more, which I really enjoy talking to people. So I really enjoy making it.
You react to a few Rooster Teeth series, but which one is your favorite?
I'm going to have to go with RWBY. Hands down. I love Red vs. Blue, I love X-Ray and Vav, I love Camp Camp, but ultimately it boils down to RWBY. Because RWBY is the main thing that got me into Rooster Teeth, and it's definitely shaped my life in a lot of ways. So there's just no way that it couldn't not be RWBY.
Speaking of RWBY, Volume 4 just ended. What is your opinion on it?
I was ultimately very happy with Volume 4. I felt like it was a lot of the closure we needed. There was no way it was going to be as harsh as Volume 3 was. Having volumes like that back to back would just be, one, cruel, and two, very hard on the animators, and three, it wouldn't really fit the story. So it was nice seeing these characters and how they grieved and how they moved on, because it was a serious event, and for a show that's very focused on character, it was really nice to see how their characters changed and developed over the 6 to 8 months that we missed, and how they were handling the situations that they found themselves in. So I ultimately really enjoyed it. I love seeing the new animation style. I'm pretty sure every week I just ended up screaming, "The animation!" because it was gorgeous, which is not half the reason I watched the show, but a good chunk of the reason why I watched the show is the animation.
Also, what are some of the things you would like to see in Volume 5?
In Volume 5, I'm excited to see the world of the city of not the kingdom of Mistral. It has a lot of potential. It's definitely going to have a completely different culture from Vale, which I'm very excited to see. So just that whole other system of how that kingdom works, a kingdom which is somewhat notorious in the world of Remnants for being in a morally gray area and being very divided. I think it'd be interesting to see how our protagonists proceed with that, especially with Lionheart being a spineless kitten and Watts very closely monitoring the situation. So I think there's definitely a lot of potential there. That being said, and this is definitely because Pyrrha is my favorite character, but I would love to see Pyrrha's parents. I was talking to someone about making a joke about there is no war in Ba Sing Se except it's Mistral, and it would actually make sense if the headmaster was like, oh, it was just a grim accident, nothing bad happened in Vale, no one was attacked in Vale, what are you talking about? We're perfectly safe here. And I just think it'd be really interesting to see all the parents of the students who were at Mistral, the students who were from Haven who were at Beacon, especially Pyrrha's parents, even though she didn't go to Haven, being like, that is not true, this is not what happened. Like, and even in that one specific case, our child did not die for you to brush this under a rug and let this happen again. So I think that'd be very interesting to see. I think it'd be a very emotionally powerful moment. But I would love to see that. And I also want to see more of Yang, because we didn't get to see much of her, so More of Yang and Weiss for sure, and then a lot more of Nora. Nora's my new current redheaded fave because they're all dead right now.
So you also do Vitalcast. What exactly is that?
Okay, Vitalcast is the podcast that I do with my friend David pretty much every Friday about RWBY. We talk about anything from the episode, which we usually do when the season is running, to news that's come out. Usually there's about 20 minutes of me ranting about animation, but we talk about our thoughts on the episode, what we thought. We occasionally have some guests. We talk about favorite scenes, what we think could be coming up. In fact, we actually have to make a spoiler alert banner now because all of our predictions ended up coming true, so people stopped watching because they didn't want to be spoiled, which was not a problem we expected to have. But long story short, it's a podcast that we do, but it's lots of fun. It's all on YouTube on his channel. So I'm pretty sure most of it is just me yelling to respect the animators.
Do you have any ideas or expectations for the future of your channel?
I really don't know what to expect from my channel, honestly. I never really expected it to make it to this point. I never really put it out there expecting to get a lot of response. I mean, it was a place for me to store videos for facial reference because I didn't have the computer storage, and to play video games with my friends. And it's kind of morphed into something completely different, which I'm not saying it like different in a bad way. I love the way that it's taken. I honestly can't believe that it is the way it is. But I don't know, maybe to be a little bit more interactive. I love talking to people. I try to reply to all the comments that I see. I'm hoping that I can put up more cosplay stuff and that people can look at my cosplay tutorials and be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to start cosplaying. I'm going to follow this, because that's what I did with a lot of cosplayers. And kind of help people get that push into getting into cosplaying and seeing that, hey, you know, it's okay to be very excited and very emotional about a TV show. It's perfectly fine. Like, there's a community of people who do it. You don't have to be aloof and reserved all the time. It's perfectly fine to bawl your eyes out about a fictional character for 40 minutes. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Alright, we are out of time, but thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will put the links to Arryn's channel and other social platforms in the description below. Is there anything else you would like to say before we end?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking the time to interview me and giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And to all of you watching, I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. So, bye.